Ehud Olmert, thanks for joining me on UpFront. Your successor as Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, suggested this week at the UN that Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas isn't a partner for peace. You dealt with Abbas for several years. Do you share Netanyahu's view?
Well, I can say that while I was Prime Minister for almost 3 years, I negotiated with Mahmoud Abbas, Dr. Mahmoud Abbas, the President of the Palestinian Authority, and I found him to be a genuine and a serious and a trustworthy partner for the peace negotiations that we conducted.
He is a partner for peace, in your view?
That he certainly is a partner for peace. There is no other. Let's face it, even sometimes, you may not necessarily personally like the other side or share with him his opinions, and that's why you sit together. But he is the President of the Palestinian Authority, and he time and again proved that he is against terror and that he is ready to spell it out in the most, in the strongest possible terms.
There are plenty of people.
And I think that proves that he wants peace.
There are plenty of people, Mr. Olmert, even inside of Israel, who say it's Netanyahu and not the Palestinians who is the roadblock to peace, to ending the occupation. He now leads a government in which the majority of ministers are opposed to a two-state solution.
Mr. Hassan, I don't like to, when I'm speaking to the international community, to offer an opinion about the Prime Minister of the State of Israel. I think that his speech yesterday was a great performance for whatever he wanted to say. But I think that there should be greater flexibility that the two sides must show, the Palestinian side as well. But the basis for any negotiations, in my mind, is undisputed. This is a two-state solution. And there can be no peace without a two-state solution.
You say that, and you don't want to comment on Netanyahu personally, understandably so, but surely you would not dispute the fact that he leads a government in which the majority of ministers are on record publicly saying they oppose that two-state solution that you say you support.
For me, the question whether a number of ministers are officially and publicly are against a two-state solution is less important. Everything depends on one man. Right or wrong, good or bad.
And that one man, Mr. Netanyahu,
Israel as well as it is about America.
And that one man, Mr. Netanyahu, does he believe in a two-state solution?
Said that he is.
Do you believe him?
He said that he believes, and I want to believe that what he said is genuine. He said time and again that he is committed to a two-state solution.
During the election, he said he wasn't.
Remains to be
During the election, Mr. Olmert, he said he wasn't.
Well, Israeli politicians are no different from some other politicians in other democratic countries, and Israel is a democracy. Sometimes they say things and then they change their attitude, or they say before election things that they will not necessarily do after elections. But I think Netanyahu, over a period of time, before the elections and in the first term and in his second term, he made a commitment to support a two-state solution. So I want to believe, what's hidden in his heart, I don't know.
You say that Israel is a democracy.
And the state of Israel is committed.
You say Israel is a democracy.
But the state of Israel is committed.
Okay, you say Israel is a democracy. In 2007, you said if the day comes when the two-state solution collapses and we face a South Africa-style struggle for equal voting rights, the state of Israel is finished, you said. 8 years later, surely we are closer to that apartheid scenario now that you warned against than we were in 2007.
Mr. Hassan, I want to make it even harder for me and easier for you. First time I said it was in the 5th of December 2003, not 2007. So you can say that this is almost 12 years since I said it. There is no question in my mind that the only possible solution for the situation in the Middle East is separation. there are two ways to make separation possible. Which I entirely disagree with, entirely without any hesitation, is the deportation of Palestinians from where they live, from where they grew up, from where they were for generations.
And the other?
In spite of the historical dimension, the Jewish historical dimension, which is also undisputed in the territories. And therefore the other is that Israel will pull out from those territories, and that was the basis of my peace proposal to
but many would say in the territories,
Abbas,
Mr. Olmert, many would say in the occupied territories right now it's already a situation of apartheid. Yes. You've warned that if you don't pull out of the territories, Israel itself, within the green line, would be an apartheid country. That's what your warning was.
Well, you know, sometimes I still make this warning, and I think that this warning is a serious one, and we have to address ourselves to this in a very serious and to expedite the process.
The warning of apartheid, you're saying, of South African-style apartheid.
As much as it depends on us. The warning of a development of a situation where a sizable part of the population is not having the same equal rights that they deserve to have, and I don't want to be in that situation. And since I think that it is possible that it will take place if there will not be a solution, therefore we have to expedite the process of negotiations that will lead to a separation. And the separation between us and the Palestinians means that we will withdraw back to the boundaries, to the borders, more or less of 67, with minor modifications and with swaps of territories. So the basis will be the size of the territory of 67. The line may be changing a little bit depending on the swaps of territories, as I have proposed in my peace plan, and that the sooner we do it, the better it is for us and the Palestinians.
Okay, you said in 2012, famously, that you didn't support an Israeli strike on Iran. We had the Iran nuclear deals brought to us by the US and other superpowers recently. Benjamin Netanyahu told the UN that it makes war. The nuclear deal, he says, makes war more likely, not less likely. Do you welcome the nuclear deal, or are you opposed to it as Mr. Netanyahu is?
In principle, I always say that I think that, and I thought that this was a position of consensus in Israel, that all the other political leaders share this opinion, that it is not our duty to lead the international effort to prevent Iran from acquiring the capabilities to have nuclear power. And I still think that it is not our
So do you
role
back the deal?
To be the leader. It is the United States and the Russians. Now, I'm unhappy with certain parts of the deal. This is not an ideal deal, but the question is not whether I like it or not. There is a deal. It's a done deal. It's been approved. It's been accepted. There was no opposition to it in the United States.
So why is Israel publicly denouncing and opposing it again and again?
Now, well, this is something that you have to ask the Prime Minister, and he is in a better position to say why he is against it. My idea or my position is that we have, first of all, to accept the commitment made by President Obama. I know President Obama personally. I've dealt with him. I've worked with him. I think that he is a great friend of the State of Israel. I think that he genuinely cares about the concerns that we have with regard to the possibility of Iran having nuclear power. And I think that we absolutely can trust what he said, that he will do everything in his power that Iran will not have nuclear power, and that Israel's security interests will be protected. So I think what we have to do is, rather than fight with the president, rather than oppose him, rather than sometimes criticize him publicly, to remind ourselves that the United States is still the best friend that Israel has in the world, and that President Obama is a man of integrity, and we have to sit with him quietly.
You say that
not
you
in
want
front
Israel.
of TV cameras.
Mr. Olmert, you say you want Israel to be part of the effort to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. But here's the thing. Israel has nuclear weapons, hundreds of them. So isn't it a bit hypocritical to be lecturing other countries in the region which don't have nuclear weapons on the subject of nuclear weapons?
This is a provocative question because I don't remember that Israel has ever admitted that we have.
Well, you admitted it in December 2006 on a German TV interview. You accidentally admitted it.
No.
Okay, well, let me ask you now. Does Israel have nuclear weapons? It does, doesn't it?
But let me. I will not answer this question, Mr. Hasan.
So that's a yes then, right?
Which I think is significant in this context. No, that means exactly what I said before, that we never admitted that we have, and I don't want to.
But everyone in the world knows Israel has nuclear weapons, Mr. Olmert. Everyone knows. You know it, I know it, everybody watching knows
it. Sometimes everyone in the world knows more than the Prime Minister of Israel. That's also possible. But I want to say this, if you will allow me. I say this, whether Israel has or doesn't have, and I said I will not refer to it, I don't remember that Israel ever threatened to liquidate another country. Now, Iran keeps saying it all the time to the state of Israel. Ahmadinejad, when he was president, and even now, strong voices from Iran keep talking about liquidating the state of Israel.
I'm not sure anyone in the current Iranian government is saying that.
Zionist.
President Rouhani hasn't said that, has he?
I will, I didn't bring with me quotes, but there are many, many people over the years, including after the signing of the
So Iran shouldn't be allowed to have nuclear weapons because of these threats, you say. But Israel can have nuclear weapons even though you've occupied other countries in the region, Syria, Lebanon, the Palestinian territories. And you're allowed to have nukes.
First of all, I don't know that we occupy any part of Lebanon. According to the United Nations Resolution 425, we have withdrawn from every inch of Lebanese territory. So number one, we don't occupy.
But you did in the past, was my point. Okay, you're not going to admit to having. Let's move on. We're running out of time.
We did in the past,
you're not going to admit to having nuclear weapons. We all know you do. So let's just move on. In March, you were convicted for fraud and breach of trust and sentenced to 8 months in prison. Here's a question: how are you able to do this interview with me? Why aren't you behind bars right now? You were sentenced to 8 months in prison.
Well, I have appealed to the Supreme Court, and I believe that at the end of the process, the outcome will be entirely different.
Even though you've lost 2 cases already, I believe.
I won 2 and I lost 1. Yes.
Okay. There are many people, Mr. Olmert, who say you should be convicted not just of fraud, but many Palestinians, lawyers, human rights activists would say you should be convicted for war crimes. You were Prime Minister during the Gaza war, in which the UN said war crimes were carried out in 2008. 300 Palestinian children were killed. You were Prime Minister during the Lebanon war in 2006, in which there were accusations of war crimes. Beirut was reduced to rubble. Hundreds of Lebanese women and children were killed. Are you worried about ending up in The Hague one day?
Not at all. I will remind you that during the Lebanese situation, Israel was attacked by the Hezbollah and by Lebanon into territories which are recognized to be part of the state of Israel, and we had to react in order to defend our innocent citizens in the part of the state of Israel which is undisputed.
But you
reacted. Same is in Gaza.
You reacted with attacks which were described by Human Rights Watch as disproportionate, unjustified, serious violations of international humanitarian law.
I don't remember one case that the United Nations during the war in Lebanon resolved anything against the state of Israel. On the contrary, and at that time, all of the Arab countries criticized Hezbollah for provoking this confrontation rather than the state of Israel.
I'm not asking you about who provoked the war. I'm asking you about things that happened during that war. For example, the Israelis under your watch attacked the Kana refugee camp in 2006, killed 28 civilians, 16 children. Human Rights Watch called it a war crime. Do those deaths ever keep you up at night? 16 kids.
You're talking about accusations which are made by interested parties. There was no resolution by
Human
any
Rights Watch is not an interested
body of
party.
the United Nations, official Human Rights Watch is one thing, and a resolution of a recognized, abiding body of the United Nations is another thing. So there were many things. Last night, a couple of Israelis were massacred with the most brutal way by Palestinians in the territories. One can bring examples endlessly. I don't want to go into this. We will always react.
Thank you so much for joining me on UpFront.